Hello everyone, welcome back to the Jacook Diaries channel. There was no music, no script, no warning at all. Suddenly, Jimin stopped talking, his eyes welling with tears, and Jungkook stared straight at him, unmoving. The next second, Jimin burst into tears and said quietly, "That was the best moment of my life." What exactly happened between them in episodes 3 and 4 of Are You Sure that made this emotion impossible to hide? Stay with us because this moment changes everything. No one was truly prepared for that moment. Even viewers who had followed Jimin and Jungkook's journey for years felt speechless when it happened. In episodes 3 and 4 of Are You Sure, the atmosphere that started out lighthearted, filled with small laughs and casual chatter, slowly transformed into something much deeper, something real, something that couldn't be faked. The cameras remained on, but Jimin's emotions began to break down in the most honest way possible in front of Jungkook. As Jimin paused for a moment, his eyes began to well up. There was no dramatic music, no over-the-top effects. Just the sound of his breath trembling slightly and an unconcealed facial expression. Jungkook, sitting nearby, immediately noticed the change. His gaze shifted from relaxed to intent, as if the entire world had suddenly shrunk to reveal only Jimin before him. Jimin didn't cry immediately. He tried to smile, trying to control his emotions as he often did. But this time it was different. The words coming out of his mouth felt heavier than usual. When he finally said, in a low but clear voice, that it was the best moment of my life. The tears that fell seemed to carry all the feelings he had so carefully bottled up. Jungkook didn't interrupt. He didn't joke. He didn't change the subject. He simply listened. Jungkook's gaze at that moment wasn't that of a coworker, nor was it just that of a friend who happened to be there. There was sincerity, a sense of protection, and a full presence that was hard to describe in words. He leaned in a little closer, just enough to let Jimin know he wasn't alone. The moment felt so private that many viewers felt like they shouldn't have peered too deeply. But that was precisely its power. There was no script. There was no direction. Just two people sharing a safe emotional space. Jimin cried not out of sadness alone, but out of gratitude, relief, and perhaps even happiness that had finally found a place to escape. In these episodes, we see a side of Jimin rarely shown. He, usually so in control, full of sweet smiles and gentle words, now allows himself to be vulnerable. And most importantly, he chooses Jungkook to be the one to be in front of him when that vulnerability arises. That choice alone speaks volumes. Jungkook, on the other hand, doesn't need many words to show his feelings. The way he looks at Jimin, the way he lingers there without rushing, is the most sincere form of support. There's a small moment when Jungkook nods slowly, as if to say, "I hear you, I'm here." And for Jimin, that seems more than enough. When Jimin wipes away his tears and tries to laugh a little, the atmosphere changes again. Not completely light, but warm, like the rain stopping, leaving fresh air and a sense of relief. Jungkook smiles, not a big smile, but a soft smile that only appears when feelings are truly touched. Many wonder, did they realize this moment was special on their own? Or did it only become apparent after the cameras turned off and they had time to reflect? What's clear is that, for viewers, this is one of the most honest scenes ever filmed. It's not loud, it's not sensational, but it hits right to the heart. Episodes 3 and 4 of Are You Sure don't just show the physical journey or the activities they do together. More than that, these episodes show an emotional journey. About how two people who have been through so much together can still find space to listen to each other, support each other, and be a place of refuge for each other. Jimin's words, "It was the best moment of my life," continue to resonate, not because of its magnitude, but because of its simplicity. That best moment wasn't a grand stage, not the cheers of thousands of people, but rather when he could be himself, vulnerable and honest, in front of someone he trusted wholeheartedly. And perhaps that's what makes this scene so memorable, because beneath their status, fame, and everything that's attached to them, Jimin and Jungkook remain two human beings seeking understanding and warmth. In that cry, in the silence of Jungkook who faithfully accompanies us, we see something important. It was real. something that didn't need to be explained because it was already felt. What made this moment even more powerful was the context behind it. Jimin and Jungkook were no strangers to pressure. They had lived under constant scrutiny, expectations, and unspoken rules for most of their adult lives. Every gesture was analyzed, every word repeated, every expression questioned. But in that brief, unguarded moment, none of that seemed to matter. The walls that usually surrounded them slowly crumbled, leaving only honesty. Jimin's tears didn't feel sudden, but they felt accumulated. Years of emotions piled on top of each other finally found release in a space that felt safe enough. And Jungkook, without saying a word, became that space. His silence wasn't hesitation. It was respect. He let Jimin feel it all without rushing, without downplaying the weight of what he was expressing. There's something incredibly intimate about letting someone witness your most vulnerable state and not trying to fix it. Jungkook didn't seek jokes or distractions. He remained present. In doing so, he sent a calm message: "You don't need to be strong right now. I'm here." Such reassurance doesn't come from a place of obligation, but from a deep emotional understanding. For many viewers, this scene resonates because it reflects something universal. We've all experienced moments where words fail to express feelings, where emotions emerge suddenly, and where the presence of someone we trust makes all the difference. Seeing it reflected so clearly, without filter or dramatization, makes it impossible not to feel connected to it. As the episode progresses, nothing feels the same. Even the lighter moments feel different, as if the bond between them has been revealed, not changed. It reminds us that some of the strongest relationships aren't built on loud declarations, but on quiet understanding, shared glances, unspoken comfort, and the courage to let someone see us for who we are. And perhaps that's why this moment will stay with us for so long. Not because it answers a question, but because it shows something real, something human, something that doesn't ask to be interpreted, only felt. When the episode ends, that feeling still lingers, like a hug that's invisible, but felt long afterward. And for many, the moment Jimin cried in front of Jungkook wasn't just a scene from a show. It was a reminder that love, in any form, often comes in silence, in tears, and in the courage to be honest about how we feel. The moment may have ended on screen, but its feelings linger in our hearts. Jimin's tears, Jungkook's silence, and the unadulterated honesty made episodes 3 and 4 of Are You Sure feel more than just a mere spectacle. They were slices of real emotion. If you felt the warmth of that moment, if you believe that silence can sometimes speak louder than words, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next installment of Jungkook's story. Let us know in the comments which part touched you the most. See you in the next video because their story isn't over yet, and the feelings continue.